And happy Wednesday, happy Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, depending on where you are in the world. I hope you are all doing well. I am coming to you from the studio today rather than the living room because the guys are putting up the windowsills and window trim, which is awesome. Hi, Sandy. She says, I'm going to be lurking, finishing wrapping presents and Christmas Day preparations. Well, I'm glad to have you here lurking with us. And hi, Michelle. And I only have one camera today because honestly, it was just, I could set up the two cameras. It was too much. It was just too much. So I am just, hi, Michelle. Hope you are having a good day too. I am going to do something very simple today because I realized I was out of stock anyways, and I'm going to need them for an upcoming huge project. I'm making knots. So I've got some pretty thick wool. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. And I'm just literally going to be making chunks of knots because they're really great fillers to have. And so when I make a knot, I mean, literally, I'm not trying to do anything in particular, but knot making is a fun thing to do when I want to chat with folks and see what's going on. And in the future, I want to do more recordings here from the studio, but I need to get the double camera set up and my microphone. I couldn't find the other half of it that I needed. And it was like, you know what? The day before Christmas, I'm not going to stress. Hey, Sue, how are you doing? Has all your family arrived yet, or are they coming tomorrow? Our Christmas has been postponed till Saturday because my mother-in-law is not feeling well, and then come to find out the big storm that came through wiped out their power, so they were without power. So my husband's taken a bunch of food over to them because when they lose power at their place, they're usually out for a few days. But I am making knots, and I've got 3 colors, and I've got a ton of greens. If you saw my post on Facebook or the YouTube post last night, I've got a lot of greens laid out on the island here in the studio, and there are a lot more that I need. So I'm actually doing a little bit of shopping because I have a big commission and very specific greens that she wants or doesn't want. So yeah, so I'm checking inventory and shopping. Sue said we're having family over on Boxing Day, just the 2 of us for Christmas Day. Now it'll just be just the 2 of us too. We're going to have raclette for dinner, which is one of my favorite things. Of course, we sort of celebrated last night and tonight because hubby made a quiche, which was delicious. Oh, I'm looking into the living room now, and there's window trim and there are window sills. So nice. Tally, of course, is not a fan of all the noise that's been going on. Michelle said my power was out from 4 to 5 a.m. this morning. Yeah, they're in Los Gatos, Michelle. So it's been, and they're kind of like they're down on the Los Gatos Saratoga border. So they lose a lot. Yeah, the wind was really crazy, but we were very fortunate. We did not have any branches blow down. A lot of the redwoods have lost small fronds, but no big branches. Yeah, commission, Sue. I'll tell you more about it once the contract's signed and I have my first deposit, but it's going to be a big one. It's going to be larger than Gaia. We have not gotten much rain. In the last 3 days, I think we've only had 2 inches total. So last night when they were expecting all this crazy stuff to happen, we got like a half an inch. So see, as I start knotting things up, this is what I end up with, just little pieces like that. And I'll probably just keep adding to this one. Because like I said, these guys make really good fillers. And one of the things that the gal asked for is happy greens, not sad greens. And that's kind of, dependent on the person. So I've got to take pictures of lots of things and share them with her and see if we're on the same page. I wish you could send us some too, Sue. We need more. You got about a half an inch. Yeah, that was us last night when they were telling us we were going to get like 4 or 5 inches up here. Hey, Barb, how are you doing? Happy Christmas Eve to you. I am making knots today because it's easy. So I almost forgot to come because I'm wrapping presents and finishing my winter solstice page. Nice. I wonder if they're done. I don't think they're done. Figures if they're done, they'd be done like right before this stuff was happening, but oh well. This is a good reminder to me to get things set up so that I can do videos in here as well as in the other room. We have presents to put in bags. I don't remember if I told you guys last week, my mother-in-law and I decided that we would save the bags every Christmas, and they've already got the tags on them. And then we swap them, when we're taking our presents home, we take our bags that we use back again. And a lot of times we have the right size bags, so we hardly have to do any changing. We just need to put things in the right bags. Sue said, I have gifts wrapped, but still need to do ribbons and tags. Yeah, since we only exchange gifts with my in-laws, it's pretty low key. Other people that we don't get to see in person, we send gift cards. Yeah, knots are fun because, even when they don't look like much of anything like this, once you tuck them in, let's see, I have something stitched here. So once you tuck them in around stuff, and so right now my thing, like I would not say these greens went together, but I don't know what else is going to be in the piece to try and decide, what else what other colors I need. It's very tough. When I'm working on my own, it's fine because if something takes longer than I thought it will, it's not a big deal. But knowing that this is for somebody else and trying to, that's why commissions are tough, because you're working with somebody else's ideas. And of course you want to make sure they're happy. Yikes, Barb. Kitty just jumped off my desk and left my arm bleeding. I'll be right back. Ouch, ouch, ouch. That smarts. Well, I actually see some sun through the window. It was pretty gloomy when Tally and I went out for our morning walk. Last night we were walking in the rain. She's like, crazy, crazy. It's raining. I don't care. She's insane. But she's a sweetie. She is worth all the crazy she gives us. So then it starts to get a little more 3D. And, I could change this up by taking another color and wrapping it around it. But I think I'm just gonna try and build some stock. That's really kind of what I have to look at. I'm gonna lay things out. It's gonna be a big piece, a little more than 3 by 4, 3 feet by 4 feet. So bigger than Gaia, which luckily I have my new stand. I just need to get some wood pieces that are big enough to stretch my fabric over. And I've, been thinking about this other way that I want to create the little islands, I guess I would call them, and then stitch them together. So this will be a good opportunity to do that. Sue said, I've been working on a scroll with patched green foundation. Not all greens work together, in my opinion. I agree. I had this, a whole bunch of this really light green, and it makes me think of kind of like the baby green. I know when I was pregnant with my first child, we did the room in greens to be gender neutral because they didn't have ultrasounds for testing for the babies, or they didn't tell you that. Yeah, we didn't have ultrasounds for that right then. Or if we did, it certainly wasn't offered 45 years ago. Anyway, it just reminds me, every time I look at this really minty green, it makes me think of baby stuff, and it's not a color I want to use. And this color says spring green to me. And so I have others. So, I mean, this goes with this, and this goes with this. Okay. But, I have a lot of the darker greens and olive greens, and I've got to find a way to blend things together. I mean, I'm going to have to buy yarn. There's no way around it, but I'm trying to see what I have that I can use and what I maybe have already started with French knots that I can use, just because, there is a time constraint here to get it done in, I think I told her 6 to 9 months. So basically That's going to be my 2026 project. It will definitely change whatever else is going. I didn't think to ask you guys, can you hear me okay? Since I don't even have my mic in here, I'm just using the computer. Sue said, is there minty green in nature? I can visualize blue greens and yellow greens, but not mint. Maybe that's it. Maybe I don't see a minty green in nature. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, I can't use gray greens in this piece. I can't use the blue greens. They're just too, they're sad greens. Okay, sound is fine. Good. Good to know. Yeah, of course, because I didn't think to check, even though I knew they were going to be working in there, I didn't think to check until like 10 minutes before I was going live. See, this is already getting more interesting. Yes, I definitely see sunshine out there. Wow. So yeah, I've got to figure out, since I don't sketch, the only way I can figure out how to put this together is laying it all out. I'm going to have to bring a card table in here to kind of get a little bit more. Actually, I think I have a board I can put out that'll make it a little bit wider, just so I can get a rough idea how much yarn I need. I don't know. Sue said, you'll have to think carefully about taking on commission in colors you may not enjoy. You'll probably have to sacrifice your work for open studios, etc. Yeah, and it's not that I don't enjoy the colors, because she and I, we Zoomed yesterday and we went through a lot of my previous work. Hey, Sandy, Merry Christmas to you too. And there's, she loved the big Gaia piece, but she didn't want browns. That's fine. She didn't want the water, but she wants the rocks. So we kind of went through a lot of my previous pieces, figuring out what she liked and didn't like. And then I'm going to do that again by putting together an album in Google Photos, so she can go through and say, like this, don't like this. The whole piece is going to be greens and nature textures. I'm happy with that. Very happy with that. I had a lovely chat with her yesterday, and I'm looking forward to it. We're talking about a commission I just took on, Sandy, and I don't do those very often, but this one's a big deal. And I learned so much from doing Gaia that I'm really excited to put a lot of those ideas into practice with this. I think I've learned how to make it easier, which is important. It doesn't have to be faster. I think 6 to 9 months, I think, is good. And I had to think about the fact I've got a show in June, and I've got a First Friday display to build in July. And I have enough small pieces that I can do that with. And the show is a group show. It's not like totally just mine. So between the white pieces, the colored pieces, all the things that I already had done for Open Studios, if I make nothing new for that show, I'm fine. And Open Studios, the new work that I will have for Open Studios this year will very much be the terrariums and I've got here. I'll show you because I'm in the studio and I have it right here in front of me. I have interesting pieces of wood like this to build wildscapes on. So that's kind of what I'm going to concentrate on for Open Studios, because it's not the kind of stuff that'll go to a show. I will do awesome. Be sure to breathe in your life. It will be great. Yeah, I'm excited. Very excited. And she found me just on the internet. So proves that being out there and posting your stuff is a good thing to do. And yesterday we took Tally with us to go drop off a piece of art, mushroom art that I did. You might have seen the post. I did some needle felted mushrooms and added it to an old piece. And we took Tally with us to Santa Cruz, which we hadn't done before. We had no idea what she was going to do with so much stimulation. Hey, Kat. Oh, Gracie has decided it's time to play. Be right back. Okay, Sue. Isn't that a great piece of wood? And you know what it is? I found them on Amazon, things for reptile habitats. Sandy said, oh, my lands, that will be absolutely exquisite. And so totally Susan Taylor Brown. Yeah, I've got like 3 pieces like that and then some smaller ones. So I think I will invest in like maybe one really, really large one. Yeah, Kat, no problem being late. I'm just kind of hanging out here in the studio making knots because the guys are adding the window trim, in the living room. So it was going to be really noisy there. Yeah, commissions are scary prospects, but this was too good to pass up, and especially because it's going to be big and it's going to be it's going to be nice income for next year, that's for sure. Plus, there's that. If she had asked for something where like, she wanted to give me a picture of a place that she loved and she wanted me to replicate that, I would have had to turn it down. But because I already know that she loves my work and she loves the textures that I love making, she wants a piece that's going to be unframed and freeform. And, so all the things that I love, I think it will be challenging. I can't deny that. I can't pretend like it's not going to be a challenge, but it's going to be good. Barb says, this is our break from sorry, I have to lean forward to read on the little screen in here. From getting ready for tomorrow, I still have to find a big box or maybe an empty bag for a huge bottle of amaretto from Santa. We always have one big bottle that never fits any of the bags. And one of these years, I'm going to just remember to take some grocery bags and paint them so that they're ready to go for those odd shaped things. But we need to have, right now, Gaia is still sitting across the kitchen table and we need to hang it back up again. We've got to put new hooks in the wall. Anyway, so I have to figure out, I'm still going to be doing other stuff probably in the lives because I think the commission work is going to, it's not going to be something that unless I'm doing things like French knots. Okay. So I'm going to be making lots and lots of hoops of French knots to build my little hills. So you'll see me doing things like in this size because then I can make my little hills and then add them to the larger piece until I build it up to 4 feet long. Woo! Barb says, I'm using the pieces of painty paper for wrapping. Yes. Thank you, Kat. She said, I'm so incredibly thrilled for you. It's, yeah. Last night I was just kind of walking around the house, just like, well, from after the Zoom, it was just like, whoa, did this really just happen? We had been emailing and then I said, let's hop on Zoom. And yeah, when people that you don't know in real life or you haven't had a relationship with, like in something like this on the lives, seek you out to want to give you some of their hard-earned money to create a piece of art for them. It's an honor. It's an honor. When I saw the rooms that it was, going to be, she showed me rooms of her, her home, and she showed me where it's going to hang. There were 2 sizes she was going between. It's an honor, and yeah, it will be a challenge. But if I don't challenge myself as an artist, I'm not going to grow. And every time I look at some of the art that I admire, and I'm thinking, okay, I want to go in a new direction. I don't even know what that direction is yet, but I want to go in a new direction. If you follow Fiber Art now on Instagram, oh my goodness, the gal, I can't remember her name right now, that has taken over the account for the weekend or week or whatever, is just an absolutely amazing fiber artist. She combines tufting, embroidery, and beadwork, and then wrapped wires, and makes some really interesting things. Now, the universe, of course, has a sense of humor because I got off of Zoom yesterday and was all hyped up because all of this. And then I go check my email and I immediately get rejections for a show that I had applied to. So, there's a balancing act in the universe that just says, hey, this time that's not that's not what you're going to be concentrating on. You wouldn't have time for that anyways. Sandy said, it is so fantastic. You will bring such peace into her home. That's what I'm hoping. It's going to go in her garden room where she's got some other beautiful pieces. And I was proud of myself. Oh, hold on, people, just a minute here. The guys are done. They're heading off to celebrate their Christmas. My windows are done. Yay. And we have a few days with nobody here. Yes, Sandy said, how wonderful to get the rejection that will free up your time to put your heart into this project. Yes. And I still have a few other things out that may come true and they may not. Sue said, it sounds like a wonderful opportunity. So exciting. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It was an absolute gift, Christmas gift for me, for sure. And now I'm learning, how to write a contract because it's such a large amount of money. How to write a contract for that kind of stuff. How to have things signed, e-signatures when somebody is not in the same country as you. So it's quite a challenge. And I love that I'm already growing before I've even gotten to, much more than looking at colors. Sandy said, it's hard for me to turn something down. It's so much easier if somebody rejects me. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. That is another way of looking at it. I was a little disappointed by this rejection. I mean, the work was already done, but it was a long shot. And the reason I was disappointed is because it was with one of the local galleries that I would like to get into one day. But this was a long shot because it was a sculpture show. And although they said they would take, in all mediums, my stuff isn't necessarily what you would think of when you think of sculptures. But I did submit 3 of my unearthed pieces, and that's okay. They'll find their spot later. Kat said, I believe DocuSign works for people in multiple countries. You didn't ask, so I hope you don't mind. Oh, always add to the conversation. Yeah, I had ChatGPT help me narrow down. DocuSign is $10 a month, and I don't think I'm going to be doing enough of these to work with that. But I guess a lot of people do a free trial and then you cancel after a couple months. But there were like 4 of them that ChatGPT brought up, and I think it's called HelloSign. They have a free version, and you can only do 3 documents a month. That's plenty. So figuring that one out, and then writing the contract. I haven't sent it yet. Figuring out the payment structure. I will tell you this, it's going to live in Paris. How exciting is that? And the rooms of her house have the beautiful, if you've seen any Paris rooms, and they have the beautiful wood relief, the walls are all white, and this gorgeous relief work all around. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, Kat, and I've, we use DocuSign, of course, on our, when you're buying a house, that kind of stuff. And that was the first place I looked to. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not going to pay. I mean, $10 a month was one thing. And a lot of the other stuff was more expensive. So I asked ChatGPT, find me some other things. And yeah, that's what it came up with. It's actually been a very big help for me trying to, figure a lot of this stuff out. Yeah, ooh la la. And some of the pieces that she has are just gorgeous. Eric Speer, Speer, does beautiful marine inspired, reef inspired in all neutrals, and then sometimes with the blues in it. His work is absolutely gorgeous. You can look him up online. She has one of his pieces. I can't remember the name. Nick Lapp is a quilter in Oregon, I think it is. And she has one of his. Yes, very exciting, Barb. Sue said, it's the business end of art that keeps me from trying to sell. Yeah, well, having the website, I mean, that part is easy as far as I'm concerned. It's this, then you get into new territory. It's like, okay, there's the shipping, there's the, like I don't ship normally out of the country. Well, she actually has a base in New York, so she can pick it up in New York. So I'll only have to ship it to New York, which is a whole lot easier. And we talked about how to create something that was going to be easily shippable, as opposed to something that was on a canvas, because crates and tariffs and all that stuff are a pain in the neck. But I need to, even when I think I have all my business end of things figured out, I mean, okay, my pipe dream someday is to be able to logically afford having a virtual admin assistant to do some of this stuff for me. Be so nice. I forgot to bring my water in here. It's very discombobulating working. I mean, it's my studio space, but I'm not in my normal spot with all my things around. Oh, well, I just figured today is just a nice, easy day. Wow, now it's quiet. Tally will be happy. Hubby is off picking up food to take to his parents. Oh, see, this one's like starting to fold in. I love this. To me, these are just so good to put in between things, and then little grasses come up. Sue said that would be akin to having a home chef and or a housekeeper and a gardener in my world. Yeah. One of the things we are most looking forward to and we have saved money aside for is when all the construction is done, we are going to have some people come and do a deep, deep cleaning of every room, every inch of this house. Then we can maintain, but oh my goodness, we are starting to go into month 8. It's insane. I sort of feel like I have a live-in chef because Eric loves to cook so much. So he's always cooking for us. Made a beautiful quiche last night that we had with our cheap sparkling wine. We always have champagne with quiche. And recently at Costco, because they made like a $20 champagne, and it was okay, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh. He found for $12, he found a sparkling wine that we like even better than the champagne. It's like, yum, yum. Sandy said, tell me yourself that after every gathering that I'm going to go deep clean every inch of this house, and instead I shove it in the closet, bring it back out the next gathering. Yeah, just to have somebody come in and do that. We'll have to, poor Tally will be terrified though because of somebody vacuuming. Ooh, Kat says, I love a red blend sparkling wine. I have not had a red sparkling wine. That might be something to look for next. I have to be careful with my rosacea. I can only have so much. It's like we started drinking more champagne, besides with just the quiche, because for some reason it doesn't flare my rosacea as much as red wine does. And I love red wine, but I guess it's better I'm not having all the calories either. Okay, see, once I get started on these, it's like, yes, yes. And you don't always have to just use yarn. Some of the neat knots come from, this is rat tail cord. And though it's skinny, it can make some really interesting knots too. We have leftover quiche for dinner tonight, which will be good. And then we will do the annual watching of The Hogfather. That is our Christmas movie that we love to watch. If you've ever read any of the Terry Pratchett novels, The Hogfather is just a lot of fun. Totally safe for all ages and the family. And I think it's Netflix that has it for free, to watch. You don't have to, pay to download it somewhere. Kat says that's a good point. I hadn't put 2 and 2 together with the rosacea and the red wine. Yeah, it didn't used to bother me. Triggers change, but my rosacea went into remission for like 10 years. It was lovely. And now it's back again, which is really frustrating. And then the sulfites in red wine, of course, my husband and I both get really, really bad headaches from that. So we don't drink as much wine as we used to. And I can't drink a margarita anymore because I just get an instant headache. Oh, you haven't seen it? You'll look for it. It's really fun. It's a long movie. I think it's like 4 hours. And instead of Father Christmas, you have the Hogfather. And then you have all these just really fun characters. It's just, we laugh so hard we have to pause the movie and then go back a step, because even though we've seen the movie, I don't know, 20 times, it still gets us into hysterics. The Tooth Fairy, it's good. And it has a very happy ending. There actually is a monster under the bed. And Michelle Dockery from Bridgerton, before she got into Bridgerton, she plays Susan, the main character. And then you have Death, who's going around with his Sith, but he doesn't want to be, he doesn't want to be bad. Barb says, after we get off here, I've got to go make the streusel coffee cake. Oh, I love coffee cake. My mom's recipe and a family ritual. I'm hoping I hinted enough that my husband is going to make his cinnamon rolls tonight. I don't care about the calories and the sugar for a few days if we have his cinnamon rolls. We used to be able to get really good ones at a couple of the different bakeries in town, but they changed the frosting to something really weird. And then the other one, they changed the consistency of the cinnamon rolls. So they're, I don't know, they just taste odd. Sandy said, I have to make the homemade noodles for the chicken and noodles tomorrow. Oh no, Sue said, I'm still waiting for the pumpkin pie my husband promised me for Thanksgiving. Now, why is my screen going dark? It shouldn't be going dark. Let's see. I think there's a button for that. There we go. Makes it hard to read when the screen goes all dark on you. My iPad started doing that lately. When I'm reading, it goes dark and light at the same time. We had a very odd pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving, and I would like a new one of those too. My husband tried, a famous chef's recipe, because she's always been pretty consistent, but it was whatever she had him do. We both were like, no, this is not good. Kat says, I'm hoping to have energy on Friday to make toffee and fudge. I've made fudge before, but it would be my first try at English toffee. Oh gosh, now you got me thinking about caramel. For some reason, that made me think about caramel. My husband makes this amazing caramel flan kind of cake combo. I can't remember what it's called. Sue says, maybe if I go out into the kitchen and start making it for myself, he'll jump to do it the right way. Ooh, Sandy said, I make a deep dish pumpkin pie that has a pecan praline on top, and you use apricot brandy in it. Well, you lost me at the apricot brandy, but everything else sounds yum. Caramel is not dissimilar to toffee. I love flan so much. Yeah, it's so good. And once he got the hang of this caramel, I mean, it takes forever, stirring it forever and ever, but it's so worth it. Caramel cake. I think we might need the recipe for that. Yeah, I'll grab it. It's Harry. It's a famous chef's recipe. It's a caramel tops the cake that has like I'm going to mess it up. When he gets home, I will look it up and I will send you the recipe because I can't remember the guy's name. Here we go. That's not bad. 2 of these little thingies here. So I can totally see these with grasses. And if I don't use them in this particular custom piece, I will use them in another one. I think this color would not be considered a sad green. So what would you guys call a sad green? To me, a sad green was, oh, I'm in the studio. I can show you what I would consider a sad green. Let's see. This is almost brown. It's so dark. To me, that's a sad green. I think these are sad greens. I think a lot of the winter greens can be sad greens. Yes, I'd use them as little shrubs, Barb. That's exactly what I'll be doing. Kat said maybe a dried out green, but even then it can emulate lichen. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see when I put together all the pictures and see which ones she's drawn to. Olive drab like my army uniform. But see, I love olive. I love olive, but if it's too drab, it's got more of a, this is what's going to be a problem. If this is too sad, because that's what I use to make all my little grasses. Sue said, any hue with grade tones is sad for me. Yeah. Barb says, but that's a rich, beautiful color. Sad greens. I don't like the Kelly green. Yeah, I don't know if this is considered Kelly, but I did some sampling with this and it just didn't excite me. You know, she said she likes spring greens, the idea of, you know, everything coming up fresh and new. Sue says, Barbara, how can you not like Kelly green? Barb says, okay, here's the question. Warm green or cool green? Warm all the way. Kat said, when I do customs, I have them send me a color palette that they like. Then I choose my threads and take a photo. I edit the photo for accuracy, and then I see if they like what I choose. Yeah, that's another way of doing it. I mean, we went through, I don't know if you were here when I told you, when I said we went through my previous work because that's what she was going off of. And she likes a lot of the stuff that I would consider dark, mossy forest stuff. And I think it's the grays. And we're going to go through sample by sample. This is too much money to take too much to chance. Because like I use a lot of the wools like this. And to me, that's not a sad green. But she might decide it's not what she wants. But I have to show her how they all look together first. And then she's putting together pictures of things that she likes. Plus, I have the art that she has. Looks more like a grass green. Yeah, I guess so. A Kelly green. I don't know if I would have anything. Like, I love this combination. And I think this is going to be fine. But I don't know that I can build the other bright stuff next to it. This green, I think, is bordering on sad. It probably doesn't show quite as green on the screen, but I think it's bordering on sad. So if I used it, it would be more as an accent. Oh yeah, Kat, absolutely. We've already discussed that you can't, you know, and in fact, in the contract, it's that, you know, monitor settings, you can't calibrate mine and hers to look the same. Barb says, I lean toward off-prime colors. The brights don't ring my bells anymore. Sue said, you may need, my battery is running low. Uh-oh, that's why that was getting darker. You may need some of the sad greens to provide contrast and shadow in the work. That's true. Let's see. If the battery is running low, I do not know how I can do anything with that. It might end up just being a very short stream. Let's see. Where is my battery thing? Ooh, I have 7 minutes left. So yeah, we're doing a whole lot of back and forth. There's not, you know, I don't want to take a deposit from her until she feels like I understand her colors. So we're doing, you know, I'm willing to do that stuff for free before I ask. I mean, she knows I want 25% of the deposit, you know, 25% deposit to start with, but I want to make sure that she understands where I'm coming from on this and that I understand her color choices enough that she's going to be satisfied. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, okay, let's see, I'm going to try and walk. This will be interesting here. If I unplug I think I'm back. Is anybody still here? If we're still here, just a minute, I need a chair. I'm here. If anybody's still here. Wow, what a day. But look, I have window trim. How exciting is that? Wow, that was, yeah. And I said to my husband when he was testing things out in there, turn the computer off so the battery doesn't go down. He's like, you got plenty of time. Maybe it just takes more time on the battery, drain on the battery when I'm on the internet. I don't know, or on the camera. I don't know. I'm just going to sit here and make knots. Yeah, the window trim looks fabulous. Thank you. Oh, looks like I can look over at the patio door. There's one top trim that needs doing, but that's not bad. But they're not going to be back until Monday. So we have quiet. We have quiet. Let's see, what else do they have to do outside? My husband has to do 5 feet of a new rock wall before they can add the step to the back deck. And they still have to do the deck outside the studio. And there was something else outside. And then they're doing hardware cloth all around the underneath of the house to keep the rats and rabbits out. And then they have to do lattice around the deck. And we need the electrician to come back. Oh my God. So yes, happy green on the wall. Green on every wall in this house. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So before I got the commission, I was like, okay, I'm going to clean the studio. I'm going to reorganize a few things. Now I'm like, oh my goodness, where am I going next? Let's see if I have something else over here. Let me show you any more of, let's see. I can show you a few things. These are for a larger project, but I've got mushrooms. I had a piece of mushroom art that I took down to a mushroom month is January, so I took that down. These are playing around with some of the terrariums. They're not attached or anything yet because I didn't like the way I did something, so I'm going to keep playing with them. So yeah, I'm going to have to rein in my ideas. Barb says, I have a happy green on this wall I face, a light green, and a happy blue on the other walls. Happy colors, yes. Yeah, needle felted mushrooms. And so I made 3 to put on. I don't have the piece because I dropped it off at the gallery yesterday, but I made 3 little ones to go. You know, I did those little wild moments, wildscapes. So I added 3 mushrooms to an existing piece because I didn't have time to make them something new. And so I've been making these in all sizes because these are the size that I will probably put on that pretty piece of wood. But they need some more felting. They're not quite done yet. I only managed to stab myself really hard twice, so that was good. Although these things are awkward, but the little finger protectors do help a little bit. And there's definitely a difference for me between the expensive needles and, oh, how small am I able to go? Let's see if I have my little tiny one here. And then I'll tell you one of the tricks. Shoot, where is it? It should be... Okay, I don't know if you can even tell. Can you see how tiny that is? Very tiny. There's another one that's a better size. I have 2 little ones like this, but that's a little too tiny for my terrariums. Where's my other? Oh, here's my other little. I like this guy. This is a good size. Hey, Julie. Let's see. There should be a ruler here somewhere. This is my work desk. There it is. Happy holidays to you.
Yeah, this little guy's an inch, and the other one is about 3/4 of an inch. Thank you. They look realistic. Thank you. Um, so what I find that I have the most trouble with is attaching them. I just really I hadn't made the caps thick enough, and then I was going too far through, so the wool was going through the other side. But yeah, I want to do more, maybe a little bit bigger than this. I'd like to do maybe about an inch, inch and a half, longer stems. Yeah, they're small. And I've been figuring out ways to, like holding it down with a needle while I'm stabbing it. I am very, very basic needle felter, but it's fun. And I have a lot of felt, so I figure I can get a lot of practice in. And so that's one of the things I want to do is just a lot more needle felting so that I have, because it adds so much. When you can add a few mushrooms and then the moss around it, it adds so much to a piece. I don't know that I will put them in all the terrariums, mostly because I think the terrariums, people are going to want them at a more reasonable price. They're not going to be paying fine art price like the commission stuff. So I'd like to, I mean, at that size, so this is, I think it's 4.5. So on a 4-inch terrarium, I don't know realistically price wise if somebody's going to pay $200 for it, maybe 150. So if I'm going to sell it for 150, it has to be something that doesn't have 2 days worth of work in it. Now the larger ones, I might put more detail into because I feel like I'll be able to ask more for them. So I'm thinking, okay, if this is what I'm going to be probably working on for Open Studios, to have more terrariums and the wood and things that I'm not crazy about shipping, so more likely for people to buy, in person. And I probably won't frame stuff going forward. I think I made myself crazy framing a lot of things. I have to figure out display stuff though. That's also going to be a big deal because some of the stuff I liked the way it was displayed, but other things I think we could do better. We've got a wall when you first come into the house. We have like a sunroom because it used to be the outside of the house and we closed it in. So it has a glass door now. I think we'll take that glass door off and I'm going to get a hanging system on the wall there. And the white pieces in the white frames would look so much nicer set off, hung properly on a wall. So I think I'm going to do that there. And then they're going to fill in a wall in the studio so I can put a hanging system there for any large pieces. Unfortunately, this piece will probably already be shipped off by the time Open Studios comes around. So I won't have it to show, but I'll be able to make prints of it. All right, this is a slightly different green. And that's good. It's just one of those things that I like to have on hand. This and my little balls, because when you need to fill something, they're just perfect. If you have a bunch of them on hand, then you've always got something to fill in. For those of you that use ChatGPT, I was thinking back about the color palettes discussion we were having. One thing that I discovered I could do with ChatGPT is I gave it a picture of all the greens I had out on the island, and it was able to put together paint swatches for me from that, which was really nice. So that might be something useful to somebody along the way. Oh, I'm really glad they got this area done by me, by my window here, because they had to take all my stuff apart by the desk. They wanted to move the desk. I convinced them that they could squeeze in without moving the desk, but I'm so tired of construction, really tired of construction. But I'm happy with the house. Very happy with the house. We need the electrician back out though. We realized we didn't get enough lights on the deck outside. We need another set of double lights to make sure that the stairs are well lit. Not that we go down the stairs often in the dark, but still. Is there any more interior work to be done? Well, they've got to fill in. I've got these 2 niches above my yarn stash in the studio, and I want them to fill them in so it's all a flat wall, so I can put one of those wire hanging systems in place for hanging art. So they've got to do that in there. They have to evidently fix the internet connection, because when we went to tie into the internet there, it didn't want to work. So I had a cord running into my husband's office. My husband has a huge hole in the wall in his office where they put a support post. And then his closet is all in that room is all torn up because they were doing wiring things. And in the living room, there's another big hole in the wall there from another support post. And then the hall bathroom, there's a hole in the ceiling from where they had to replace the fan after water damage. So we have to wait till final inspection on the wiring before they can sheetrock that. And then when they sheetrock that and texture it, then the painters can do the interior stuff. But since the painting isn't going to be done until sometime in January. Bye, Sandy. Merry Christmas. Glad we got to see you for a little bit. Yeah, I think I'll probably sign off after this next little one that I finish here, because my voice is starting to go because I forgot to bring any water over. And hubby, who normally hears me say that and brings me some, isn't here to do that. Thanks for hanging with me through through moving back over here to plug in the computer. That was exciting. All right, now I got 2 more little ones done. So that feels like some progress. I guess you can't really see them that far away, but they look like little shrubs. I'm going to sign off and go have some lunch and some tea. I wish all of you, however you celebrate, if you celebrate, a happy holiday. You guys are all a great gift to me to be here and spend time with me. Thank you so much for being here. Happy holidays, everybody. Bye-bye for now. Merry Christmas.